Think about the last time something was actually working, a business gaining traction, a relationship going well, a goal finally within reach, and then, right at that moment, something happened. You got distracted, you picked a fight, you stopped showing up, you found a reason it wouldn't work, you told yourself it was bad timing, outside circumstances, just how things go. But what if it wasn't any of those things? What if you did it on purpose? Not consciously, not deliberately, but purposefully. In the deepest psychological sense of that word. In 1978, two psychologists discovered a behavior so common and so hidden that most people will live their entire lives inside it without ever giving it a name. This is that behavior, and it is almost certainly running in you right now. In 1978, psychologists Edward E. Jones and Stephen Berglas were studying a pattern they kept seeing in high-performing individuals. These were not lazy people, not untalented people. These were people with genuine ability, who kept finding ways to undermine themselves right at the point of success. Jones and Berglas designed an experiment. They gave participants a set of problems to solve, some solvable, some completely unsolvable by design. Before the next round, they offered participants a choice: take a performance-enhancing drug, or take a performance-inhibiting drug. The participants who had solved unsolvable problems in the first round, the ones who succeeded but couldn't explain why, overwhelmingly chose the performance-inhibiting drug. They chose to make themselves worse. Why? Because if they failed after taking something that hurt their performance, the failure had an explanation. The drug did it, not them. And if they succeeded despite the handicap, they looked even more impressive. Either way, their ego was protected. Jones and Berglas called this self-handicapping, the deliberate and almost always unconscious creation of obstacles before high-stakes situations. So that failure has somewhere to land that isn't you. Self-handicapping doesn't look like what you think it looks like. It doesn't announce itself. It disguises itself as reasonable behavior. You have an important meeting tomorrow. Instead of preparing, you stay up until 2 a.m. watching something meaningless. You show up tired. Now, if the meeting goes badly, you were tired. That's why. You've been building something for months. It's gaining traction. And suddenly you pick a fight with the one person helping you. The momentum breaks. Now if it fails, the relationship was the problem, not you. You start a business. Early signs are positive. And then you stop posting. Stop showing up. Tell yourself you're just taking a break to reassess. Now, if it dies, you never really committed fully. You were always going to try properly later. Do you see the pattern? The handicap is never random. It always appears at exactly the moment when real success and real judgment becomes possible. Because real success means real exposure. It means the world finds out what you're actually capable of. And for someone who has built their identity around potential rather than results, that exposure is terrifying. The handicap protects the one thing more valuable to most people than success: the belief that they could have succeeded if only things had been different. Here is the clinical reality of self-handicapping. It is not a character flaw. It is not weakness. It is not stupidity. It is a highly sophisticated psychological defense mechanism. Your brain runs a constant calculation. What is the biggest threat to my sense of self right now? For most people, the biggest threat is not failure. It is the discovery that they tried their absolute best, and it still wasn't enough. Failure with an excuse leaves the identity intact. I could have done it. I just didn't have the right conditions. Failure without an excuse destroys it. I tried everything, I gave everything, and it still didn't work. The self-handicapper chooses the first option every single time, not because they are cowardly, because their brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect the self. The cost of that protection is a life lived permanently one step short of its actual potential. A long list of almost, a permanent residence in, almost made it. And the cruelest part, the person doing it genuinely believes the excuses. The brain that built the handicap is the same brain evaluating whether a handicap exists. It will never find one. There is one question that cuts through self-handicapping faster than anything else. When things start going well, what do I do next? Not when things are hard. When things are working, that is when self-handicapping activates. Not in failure, in the approach of success. If you notice that your most self-destructive behaviors cluster around moments of real momentum, you are looking at the mechanism directly. The second diagnostic, whose fault is it when things go wrong? If there is always an external reason, the timing, the people, the circumstances, and never a clean admission of I got in my own way, the handicap is running. Catching it does not require willpower, it requires one moment of honest observation. The behavior cannot survive at being seen clearly, it only works in the dark. In 1978, Jones and Berglas gave people a choice between getting better and getting worse. Most chose worse. Not because they wanted to fail, because failing with a reason felt safer than succeeding and being truly seen. You have been making that same choice. Every time you stopped before the breakthrough, every time something started working and you found a way to slow it down, every time the excuse arrived right on schedule, you were not unlucky, you were not unready, you were protecting something that cost you everything. Subscribe. Next video we will discuss the experiment that proves the smarter you are, the better you are at staying broke.